I know the Bible says, be calm and trust in the Lord. Or at least you get the gist of what I'm talking about here. When I'm not calm, maybe even afraid, then what are you supposed to do? Good morning, I'm Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Friday. I know the verse that tells us, be anxious for nothing. Or Psalm 37, fret not thyself because of the evildoer. But there are times when we are just downright afraid. Even Moses and Jacob were both afraid when they had their first encounter with God, whether it be at the burning bush or at Bethel, where Jacob saw that ladder of angels ascending and descending. So what are we supposed to do when we are literally scared to death? The psalmist says in Psalm 56 and verse 3, whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. In God, for I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust, and I will not fear. What can flesh do to me? This was actually written by David when he had been captured by the Philistines, and this was his prayer for relief from his tormentors, which was certainly a real danger here. These are the same Philistines from Gath, and they remembered how he had treated their giant in the battle by the brook. They may be seeking revenge against him at this very moment. So what do you do when you're afraid? Maybe you seek some sort of escape, or maybe you cry out to someone, anyone for that matter, for some relief, or you cower from the feeling in this gloom and doom, despair. Well, here's David's simple answer. Whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. I love this verse because he is not saying, I will call out in prayer, but I'll figure there's really no one listening to me and my prayer is probably futile. He is not saying it won't do any good to trust in God, because if he was in control, I probably wouldn't be in this pickle in the first place. It seems his reaction to troubles or danger from enemies is always to trust in God. And the great thing about trusting in God is realizing that he is really in control of this situation anyway. He has already seen my dilemma coming, and right now he is working on my behalf. He even states here very emphatically, I'm going to trust in God. I've put my trust there and I will not fear. Well, that's what trust looks like, all right? A calmness that erases all fear from our minds and our hearts, and places all our devotion, all our attention, all our focus on God. It's much like the Bible says, when God is for us, who can be against us? That's what he writes here in this passage. He testifies, what can flesh do to me? This is a statement he makes when he's been overcome by the Philistines, the sworn enemies of Israel. It was Paul that wrote that phrase in Romans 8:31, when God is for us, who can be against us? It's the same statement of trust that David has made here. So the question for us today is, what do I do when I'm afraid? Do I cower in my fear? Do I shake in my boots? Do I seek some sort of fleshly solution, or do I just place my trust in God? Because I know that flesh can do nothing to me without God's permission, without God seeing all that's going on here. So I'm just going to trust in him. I hope that's where you're at today.